Welcome to Dialogues of Desire,
Non-monogamy unscripted.
the podcast where we're rewriting the rules of relationships.
So grab your intimacy and exploration passports and join us from the very beginning
As we embark on an unscripted, unfiltered journey
into the world of non-monogamy.
Yeah. Welcome back. This is Dialogues of Desire.
Non-monogamy unscripted.
My name's Britt.
And I'm Sophie, and today we are talking about
Truth v.
harmony. So we heard on a podcast the concept of this truth versus harmony and
how it is played out in people's relationships, sometimes friendships or romantic relationships.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really interesting, I guess, to think about your own relationship and whether you choose truth or if you choose harmony.
Yes, and I think sometimes we go between the two, but I think it's really important that we do start to, as a collective, speak our truth versus being harmonious where necessary.
So, what's truth?
So truth to me is where you express yourself openly, where you share your needs and thoughts and your boundaries openly, sometimes at the risk of maybe upsetting your partner, but it is about being authentic to yourself.
Yeah.
How would you define harmony?
Harmony is making sure that you're maintaining the peace and the comfort with detriment to yourself. Pretty much not speaking up for what you want or what you need, thinking that it's going to be more beneficial to your relationship because you don't want to hurt the other person, but really that kind of then holds resentment.
Yes, absolutely. Often in relationships, we act through harmony because we don't want to disappoint the other partner or disrupt whatever you've got going on at the moment, because that could potentially bring up some conversations.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people are told just to kind of grin and bear things.
I think being harmonious is important in relationships. Like, you don't want to always be going at each other, but for core things like we talk about, I think it's important that you do distinguish between what is your truth and when are you being harmonious, like you said, to the detriment of yourself and the other person. Because if you do choose harmony, I think too many times you can it can seep out of your pores, the resentment that might come from not being truthful.
Do you have an example of where you or I have chosen, I guess, truth or harmony and where the vice versa could have come into it?
I guess I chose truth when I met you to express myself in terms of the non-monogamy stuff, whereas I could have chosen harmony so that I wasn't opening myself up to being rejected or opening you to potentially being hurt if you weren't, open to that. So an example that we had very early on in our relationship where I think you chose harmony was when you would kind of...
Where I chose harmony because I was invited to a friend's and I kind of wasn't forthcoming about everything. Because in my past relationships, I wasn't really allowed to see friends, so I didn't want that to affect us. So I wasn't truthful about, hey, my friend's having this birthday. I really would like. I wouldn't, not asking permission. I would like to go, but I'm just like letting you know I'll be flying out this day, or like being truthful about what was happening. I chose a harmonious route to be like and not tell you the explicit things because I thought that I wouldn't be allowed to go and see my friends like in previous relationships, I guess.
Yeah, you chose harmony because you believe, well, you had a preconceived idea that I wouldn't want you to hang out with your friends.
Yeah.
Which is so not the case. I like it when you go...
Fuck off.
Fuck off, right? I like it when you spend time with the people that you care about, because I think that makes you a better person. It makes us all a better person. But I think you believe that was a harmonious route because in the past you would just not see... Well, you would see your friends here and there, but you just wouldn't talk about it.
Yeah.
But that wasn't actually harmonious within this relationship.
And I think what people need to understand is even though when you choose harmony it builds up, I guess, a resentment or something else that it will come out eventually. So instead of telling your truth, and maybe things might be a little bit hurtful to hear initially, it's better than not saying what you feel like, things bottling up, and then you just explode.
Yeah, absolutely. I think when you chose harmony in that situation, that made things a lot worse. And then I chose harmony from you choosing harmony because I didn't know that that's what it was at the time. And I thought you were just trying to be untruthful or not, you weren't being transparent. So I sat back a bit and I was pretty fucking pissed off that you chose to go a little bit earlier than we were going to go, which did upset me because I was like, well, you said to me you're about to go on placement after you come back from Sydney and I'm not going to be able to see you for 2 weeks because you need to focus on your studies. And I was like, that's totally fine. But I guess I probably made the assumption of that we would catch up the night before you would then go away, but you ended up going early.
Yeah.
And you did go away because I did say I chose harmony in that instance because I was like, go whenever you can, babe. Like, absolutely go.
Yeah.
Absolutely go. If I can't come, that's fine. You know, the following day. But I didn't. I should have at that time said, like,
I would like to have dinner with you tonight. Can you get a flight tomorrow?
Tomorrow, yeah. But I said, no, babe, go for it. I might not see you for 2-3 weeks. That won't upset me. Because I did want you to, I really did want you to go. But I should have probably just been open with, well, I thought we were going to have dinner that night before because we were not going to see each other for a while.
Yeah.
So it's hard because then I was also, it's hard when you're thinking about the other person and then yourself at the same time, but trying to think about you and wanting to go to your friend's birthday.
Yeah.
So that was a hard juggling of truth versus harmony, and truth ended up being told eventually, but I was harmonious in the beginning, and that did put a strain on
our
relationship because you had said to me that we weren't going to see each other.
Yeah.
And you kind of put that boundary in, but then didn't want to make that effort.
Yeah.
But if you were speaking your truth in the beginning and were transparent about,
none of that would have ever happened because then you would have shown your truth as well.
Yeah, that's right. And you would have had that booked for the day before, and that would have been fine because I would have not had the expectation that we were going to have dinner the night before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another general example of just like household stuff is if you're the type of person who wants the kitchen clean after dinner and the next morning you wake up and it's all sweet, but your partner's the type of person who's like, let's just leave it for tomorrow, and you don't say anything, and then you just build that resentment of like, fuck, now all these dishes are in the sink, and
yeah,
like I wake up and it's, you know, there's stuff there. But if your partner doesn't know and they're just like, oh, well, you think it's cool, like I think it's cool, there's an internal resentment with the other partner having absolutely no idea that it actually means something to you.
Yeah.
And if the other partner's like, well, I don't really care either way, and if it helps you feel calm at night or wake up, you know, in a good mood, then sure. But that's where you've got to speak your truth and not just be harmonious.
Exactly. I guess truth v harmony can come about in relationships when I guess there's family issues that can arise and how you deal with that together. I think that's a big classic one. Also, like unmet needs, whether that's relationship needs, household needs, not being able to speak up about that, and then changing interests as well. Like I think those three things can cause a lot of, do I choose the truth component and tell you how I'm actually feeling about this, or do I choose harmony? And I guess I know, like in our relationship, for instance, we have both chosen truth going into non-monogamy. And especially myself, I have not chosen harmony just to say, yes, let's do this because that's what I want to stay with you, you know, and
Correct.
be harmonious. I've actually spoken up and told you my needs or my concerns or boundaries in relation to that. So no one's been, I guess, harmonious in that. Everyone's been truthful, so that we both know where we stand. And I think those three things that I've just mentioned before that can really affect the relationships, those three things are really important and need to, I guess,
continually be discussed. I think a lot of people think that you in this relationship, because you're monogamous at this point in time, are choosing harmony, even though you've been clear that you're not. And that's where I think we pride ourselves, like you said, on being truthful.
Yeah.
And there may come points in time where I might probe you if I think that you're being harmonious.
Yeah.
You might probe me to just see, okay, let's check in. Is that true, or is that you just, you know,
going with it?
Yeah, going with it, that's right. We are a podcast about desire, and I think often in terms of unmet needs, desire can come into that. So
absolutely,
you know, we evolve in relationships. We want to try different things sometimes. Sometimes we don't think that our partner will want to hear about something or wouldn't be open to something. So they choose harmony by keeping it within themselves, believing that they can't get maybe their fantasies met or their desires met. Often it can also be societal conditioning as well.
Absolutely.
That you think that may be the case.
Yeah. Sorry. I think it's really important for people in relationships, sexual relationships, to be able to discuss their sexual desires or things, you know, or like if somebody's not touching you the right way, like, you know, like everyone's roadmap is different, you know,
yeah,
to get you off is different to somebody else.
Yeah.
And I think it's really naive and immature to think that one way will fit all.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I think porn has a lot to do with it.
Yes.
That's the shit, because people think that there is only one way to do certain things. I know many people who just don't speak up about what they want or what they like. I remember having a friend, like, we were young in high school, and she had a partner and he had never made her orgasm, for example. He thought he had, but hadn't, because she never spoke about it. Because she chose harmony. And even as you get older and maybe you're in a long-term relationship, and desire and all those sorts of things ebb and flow, sometimes people think that that's just the way it is and they accept it, and that's where they choose harmony. Or if they've got new desires that they want to explore and they're embarrassed or feel shame around those things, they choose to just suppress it or secretly watch porn or do that sort of stuff and don't actually express it with their partner. And I think that can be really detrimental to themselves, but also to their partner.
Absolutely.
Because you don't know what your partner might be into, or what they might not be into, and it's okay if they're not into the same thing as you. You can talk about that, or you can navigate, or you can compromise and that sort of stuff. But I think a lot of relationships can fail or have massive points of tension because people aren't being true to themselves.
Yeah.
What do you think is the importance of choosing truth over harmony?
Well, choosing truth is choosing to be, I guess, authentically you. I think a good example of that is, I guess, when you get into a relationship, are you going to be you and make that person fall in love, or not make that person fall in love with you, but are they going to fall in love with you or the version that you think that that person wants, just to be able to have that connection and that intimacy? Am I going to change myself to fit the mold that you want?
Yes.
Or am I going to be me and completely myself?
Yeah.
And then you get to either choose to love me for that person. and from previous relationships or even friendships as you're growing up, I guess you learn that when you have a connection with somebody because they like you and you as a complete person, like you're my first ever relationship really, that I can be completely myself and feel love in that. I don't have to be anyone else. I don't have to be a smart person or a funny person. I don't have to be happy all the time. I can be sad. You know, I can experience all those things and be generally, authentically me, and you love that. Whereas if I was to conform and be who I think you want me to be, a serious person, someone like this or that, then I'm not being me. I'm playing a part, and I can't keep playing that part. And but people do that just to form connection.
Absolutely, yeah, and it takes a strong person, I think, in the end, to be able to be authentically themselves and potentially lose somebody that they think that they wanted.
Yeah,
it's very true. And I think we both found that in each other, that you kind of maybe we got to a point where it was like you have to be yourself. And we were talking to one of your friends recently who said that in all his previous relationships, he hadn't really been himself.
Yeah.
And I found that like that. Oh.
Well, it was quite like hearing him say that when he's like a 50-year-old dude, you know, like was like fuck.
It was heartbreaking, but then I thought I've done that too. You know, because you think that you want this thing. Or you have to, like you said, you have to be a certain way to get love, to receive love. But at the end of the day, your true self comes out eventually.
Exactly.
And I think that's why a lot of relationships fail, because there's like this persona that's been up, or this mask that's been on for so long, and then eventually it kind of crumbles.
Yeah.
I've always said to people, like, if they do not love, if you're not attractive to me, if you do not see how amazing I am. Like, if you can't see what a wonderful person I am, with my flaws, then you're not my person.
Correct.
That's because, like, how could you not see that?
I want somebody who is going to cry with me when I'm upset. You know, not believe that I never cry. And I don't have that emotion, like I'm always strong, I'm there. And,
that's right. But if they see that as a sign of weakness, for example, then you don't want to be with a person like that. At the end of the day, we've got our ups and downs. We often get triggered when we're in relationships, and it brings up a lot of shit from your childhood, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
I think a good one is, if you want to laugh with me, you got to deserve to laugh with me. And you got to go through the crying.
Yeah. What's that quote? If you don't deserve me...
Yeah, you don't deserve me to laugh with you if you can't cry with me.
Yeah. If you can't accept me at my worst, then you don't deserve me at my best.
Yeah.
All of the above.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Exactly. I think in any relationship you want to grow.
Yes. It's not just about, your growth. It's about building that trust and resilience within your relationship, so it allows the relationship to grow.
Oh, yeah.
Harmony can be easier, but it doesn't allow it to grow, and that's, as we said, can stop that growth together and build that resentment. And you're kind of not on a clean slate if you've got all this built up shit that you can't shovel away with, discussions.
Yeah.
Then
I think it also, being truthful means that you have to be vulnerable.
Yes.
And when you're vulnerable, that forms such an intimate connection that allows that relationship to grow and blossom.
Yeah. And each other to grow and blossom together.
Correct. Yeah.
Because you are not the same person, in the first year of a relationship to maybe your 20th year. You grow, you do grow. And if you don't...
Hopefully.
Yeah, you should grow. But if you stay stagnant in your thoughts and the way that you think things should be...
Yeah. And are not challenged in a positive way, you don't. And I think it's really important to, grow individually and together
Yeah,
to make that relationship
that's right.
flourish.
Having said that, in order to be able to speak your truth, you need to have the foundations of a safe environment in which you can actually speak up,
True.
because you can't have that without.
Correct. If you feel unsafe to be truthful,
Yeah.
you probably won't. But speaking up and telling your truth is uncomfortable.
It can be, yeah.
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 So I think getting used to being uncomfortable, but in a safe environment, to express that is really important.
Yeah, and we've even said, like, oh, we've kind of pulled each other up at times when we're like, I'm telling you my truth. Just be mindful of how you're responding. And we've both done it.
Reacting.
Or reacting. Yeah.
We want a
reacting.
response.
Yeah, because that can leave an imprint on how I approach or you approach a conversation in the future.
Yeah.
And it may mean that we hold back.
Yeah.
Because we believe that if I bring a subject up, I'm going to get this sort of response.
Yeah.
And I don't want that, so I'll just keep it to myself.
Exactly. And if you've come to them with truth and you responded badly, they're more likely to then choose harmony in the next run, I guess.
Definitely. And it can take a few times to get it right, and you'll continue to fall into old thinking or patterns. But if you can just gently nudge, your partner or yourself, and maybe take a second before you respond/react,
Yeah.
I think that helps.
Yeah.
We should caveat this and say that finding balance is essential in this truth versus harmony. Sometimes being truthful, depending on the situation, it's about the way that you deliver it. Like if it's about, for example,
You should have heaps of examples.
or even just in relation to like family stuff, or for example, you might see something that upsets me about some situation, and knowing when to meet me where I'm at, if I'm like pissed off or really sad, or whether you offer me a different perspective, even if you believe what I believe to be true, but meeting me there. So you could say, yeah, that's really fucked up. Yeah, they're being a real asshole. But that might just fuel something that isn't necessarily needed to be fueled. And you can sit with me in that, but maybe it's not your role to talk about someone like that is close to me like that.
It's really hard to, I guess, get that balance.
Yeah, yeah. And that's again where you choose. Do I want to keep the peace within this conversation? Because I believe that being truthful might, make me more upset, for example.
Yeah.
So just being able to differentiate between the two.
Exactly.
Are there any truths that you've been afraid to share with me? And do you know why you might have been afraid to share them?
I think I've shared a lot with you. I can't think of any things that I haven't told you, like now. I guess there have been times in our relationship where I maybe haven't told you the truth straight away, but as I felt more, I guess, safe and secure, and I'm able to be vulnerable with you, I've definitely opened up about whatever that might be. Whether it's just things in our relationship or sexual fantasies. But I definitely think it's what's probably scared me in telling you that is it's really fucking scary to be vulnerable. But knowing that you're not going to judge me, that we can have a conversation about it, and generally speaking, sometimes you're feeling the same way, that's really comforting, and probably made this whole being able to tell my truth more.
Now I can't shut you up.
Just easier to tell my truth, I guess.
Yeah.
What about you?
Well, just on that, I do appreciate you being open with me with all sorts of things, and I think the more that you share that stuff, it gets easier, because you hopefully know that even if I don't understand something, I'll ask questions to be able to understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. And I think it gets easier just because as you are vulnerable with that person, you build that connection more and you kind of know how they're going to maybe react or respond in a way that sometimes you kind of need. Like I might have a truth that I need to tell you, and I know that you're going to respond to me with generally like reassurance, and sometimes that's what I need at that point in time as well.
Yeah, and sometimes it's as simple as saying, in these moments, I need this. I don't need a solution. Sometimes I just need reassurance. That's another example of truth versus harmony.
Yeah.
Especially if your partner, maybe one partner is more of like a solution focused person. And like if you're solution focused and I'm being harmonious, I might be like, well, that's the way that they, that's the way they would deal with things. At least they're listening. Or I don't want to upset them because I know they get shitty when I get shitty. But just explaining it makes things so much easier, and you can speak your truth. And then, next time you might say, do you need me to give you a solution, or do you want me to just be there for you?
Yeah. What's your capacity like?
And exactly.
So, what's your personal truths that you might have been afraid to share?
Oh, probably many.
Many.
No, I think there's been heaps of things that I've been afraid to share.
Have you shared them, or have you just...
I think my kink stuff I was a bit worried to share because, I was worried about being judged, but I also know that that's also part of why I want to explore non-monogamy.
Yeah.
And trying not to be ashamed of the things that I like and whatever, and whether we do it together or whether it's with other people. But maybe also that was kind of giving you context as to why I want to do non-monogamy or that sort of stuff. Even just like vulnerabilities. I think often I try to just keep everything in and deal with it all myself. And recently I've had to say to you, like, I've got this really stressful thing coming up. I think I'm going to need...
I like when you say those things.
Yeah.
As well, when you're like telling me the next few weeks I'm going to be stressed and I might be a little bit more emotional or need something more from you kind of thing. I like that because that makes me aware, okay, this is like her behavior or her moods is just because of this.
Yeah.
And I just need to be more patient or more understanding, show like, and just be there for you in maybe a different way than maybe how I've normally been. But it allows me then to be aware of that. But if I'm not aware of the shit that you've got going on, then I also can't be there in the ways that you need me to be.
That's right. And me choosing harmony in that situation would just be me, and in the past has just been me not wanting to be too much, or not wanting to affect you with my stuff. Especially when I first met you, I was going through a lot of shit, which I'm still in, but it was so intense. And I would be like, I'm just a shit person to be around. Like, I'm so depressed or, whatever. But as we've gone on, I've been able to be like, that's okay. That's okay. And if I feel that I'm in that space, being a bit more open about it and also not feeling shame around it either.
Yeah.
Which you've helped me with. So it's okay to say that you're not okay and to acknowledge that you might, well, like for me, it's like I might not be the best version of me right now.
Yeah.
That's my truth. And you can leave me if you need to because I'm just a mess.
Stop it.
But I think if I'd chosen harmony,
I think we would have had some blow-ups because I would have been like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, or why are you so...
Why are you taking this out on me or whatever, or something, like that?
Yeah. I don't think I took anything out on you.
No, you didn't.
I'm very...
But
I internalized, like I put it inwards.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I then internalize,
that's true.
why
Then-
are you acting
that's
this way?
right.
Is it something that I've done?
Yeah, or is it like, are you making me depressed or whatever?
Yeah.
Or, which, no. Yeah. Good chat. Good chat.
It was.
So head on over to our Instagram where we post some questions to you about truth versus harmony, and perhaps you can have a bit of a chat with your partner or partners about what that means to you.
Yeah. But thanks for listening, guys. As always, you can follow us up here.
And we'll chat to you next time.
Bye. This is
Dogs. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I thought we were changing it up. It's fucking hard.
Yeah.
I might choose harmony by being quiet or... No, am I ever quiet?
Are you going to start?
Good.
That was fucking good. Start to get cotton mouth.
Oh, no.
Well, we have, because we're fucking telling our truths right now.
True.
If we're being harmonious, we just go, yeah, that sounded great, babe.
Okay. Was that true? I don't know if you've noticed with like...
Well, hang on, I was looking out the
Oh,
window
well,
because you're pulling faces.
Because I'm trying to think, and that's how my brain thinks.
Okay, when you pull a face, I think there's a child out the front of the window. And I'm like, stop it.
Me? Fuck, Mum's calling. That was Mum. Shout out to Mum. How does that call back?
Yeah.
Hey bro, how you going? Good. We're just recording. Can I give you a call back? Yeah.
Just breathing.
Oh, okay. They're a shit cunt. Which...
Beep.
Fucking bins, bro.
Literally, this episode would just be cutting out.
Maybe we should stop recording on this day. Brain, Sophie, Jesus Christ.
It's alright, I had that before.
Oh my God.
You blended them in the sheets. It's a beautiful colour on you, baby.
Thank you.
Yeah, goes really well with like your makeup and your hair with your glasses and the ear. That you look gorgeous.
Don't say that. Give me a big head. Thank you, darling. You look beautiful yourself. I wish I
That
could
was
wear
very-
hats like that.
That was very impressive though that you didn't spill any of that.
I've 14 episodes in or whatever it is. I reckon I've mastered
Nailed it.
Am I hypermobile? Look at that. Skill, motherfucker. Let's soak in.
Did you end up putting tequila in yours?
Yep. Sure did. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode of Dialogues of Desire.
We hope you've enjoyed the conversation and maybe even learned something new.
If you loved what you heard or we've piqued your curiosity, make sure to follow us on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok.
We'll be sharing the latest and greatest content there, so you don't want to miss out.
And don't keep all this juicy goodness to yourself. Share our podcast with friends, family, or anyone you think might enjoy listening.
The more the merrier, right? Until next time, stay curious, stay open, and keep those conversations flowing. We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we are recording, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging.
We recognise their continuing connection to land, waters, and culture, and acknowledge that sovereignty was never ceded. We extend that respect to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples. The views discussed in this podcast are our own and are evolving with our continuing experiences and ongoing knowledge.
This podcast is for entertainment purposes only and does not replace the advice of a health professional.